How's it going, everyone? Dab back again with another video on the channel, and today I'm going to give you my review of Pokémon Legends Z-A. Let's get straight into it. Alright, I don't really know how to start this, but I have to say I really enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it. I'd also like to say real quick, I'm not going to spoil anything from the story, so you don't have to click away. You're good. So guys, this game, I've had so much fun playing Pokémon Legends Z-A. Genuinely, everything from soundtrack to gameplay to story, this game was just really, really good. By far one of the strongest entries in the Pokemon series in a long time. Now, I know there are a lot of gripes out there and people have a lot of things to say about it that are negative. We'll go over some of those. I do have some gripes as well, but overall, I would say this is a very enjoyable experience. The thing I'd like to start with is, of course, the gameplay. Battles are completely revolutionized in this game. Instead of following turn-based mechanics of previous games, this is real-time battling, just like in the anime. I find it incredibly fun to move around the battlefield and kind of guide your Pokemon to new spots to attack. My personal favorite part about this entire mechanic is that each move is assigned to a different button and has a cooldown associated with it. Stronger moves like Hyper Beam are going to have a longer cooldown than something weaker like Bullet Punch. That's not to say Bullet Punch is bad, don't take it the wrong way. Pokemon battling feels really alive in this sense, where you have to really plan which move to use at the right time, because they can still miss. You can move other Pokemon out of the way. Now, I will say some gripes I have about this is that wild battling is more intuitive than the actual trainer battling, because trainer battling you don't get to roll around like you can with wild battling. That's one thing I don't like about it, but it's a small gripe, so it's not really that big of a deal. It's obvious that my preference is battling wild Pokemon rather than trainers. But while we're on the topic, let's talk about the Z-A Royale. I actually really love this. Pokémon Legends Arceus was kind of criticized for not having enough battling, and this is just like a 180 entirely. You're going to be battling a bunch. And no spoilers, but for those who are completing Mabel's research, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. I really enjoyed the Z-A Royale from start to finish. There was only one section in there where I really didn't like it, and without spoiling it, there's a part in there that makes you rise ranks really fast. Preferably, I would have liked to have taken my time with it, but I see why they did what they did. So kind of a gripe, but not really at the same time. I mean, it makes sense. The next really good thing I'd like to talk about is, of course, the soundtrack. This soundtrack is phenomenal. One of my favorite YouTubers, Insane in the Rain Music, got to actually work on some of these songs. The Lumiose themes, Day and Night, he got to do those. Me being a huge fan of Insane in the Rain music for many years, this was really cool to see. Funnily enough, before I saw his video announcing that he was a part of it, and before seeing the credits, I actually was listening to the music and I was like, huh, that sounds like something Kalos would write. And then I saw the video he made about it and I was like, oh, okay, that makes total sense. I'm thinking about making a video counting down my top 10 favorite themes from this game just because the soundtrack is that good. And after you're finished watching this video, feel free to check out my Pokemon music mixes where we feature songs from Pokemon Legends Z-A. Those videos are phenomenal free ways to support the channel. Thank you for checking them out. And while we're on the topic of sound design, I also want to point out that the shiny sparkle and shiny sound are back. It is incredible. That was my biggest gripe about shiny hunting in Scarlet and Violet, is that there was no shiny sound. And now it's back, and it's even better than ever. One cool thing to note that isn't really a spoiler about the story is that shiny Pokemon will save on the map, so if you miss it, it's still there. Now, this doesn't count if the Pokemon flees, but if you save and you turn off your game, it will still be in that same spot as long as you don't scare it away or capture it or kill it. After watching a few videos about this, I've learned that it's about 10 Pokemon that can be saved at once being shiny. That's phenomenal as a shiny hunter. Side note, be sure to go check out my streams where I'm shiny hunting in this game. How's it going, everyone? It's Future Foos here to tell you about today's sponsor. A special thank you goes out to the folks at Audible for sponsoring today's video. I'm sure you already know this, but Audible is an awesome platform where you can listen to thousands of audiobooks. I personally have been using their services for a long time, and I'm excited to be working with them on the channel. Recently, I've been listening to an audiobook series by the name of Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Denneman. The genre of these books is what's called lit RPG. So imagine Dungeons and Dragons meets books. It's as cool as it sounds. In Dungeon Crawler Carl, we of course follow Carl and his pet cat, Princess Donut, as they travel through the World Dungeon, an 18-floor monstrosity underneath the surface of the Earth. If I could summarize the entirety of this series down into one sentence, I would say Hunger Games meets Aliens meets Dungeons and Dragons. For those who have read or listened to this series, that is an accurate description. If this sounds awesome to you, be sure to check the link in the description and displayed here on the screen for a 30-day free trial of Audible's Premium Plus plan and a free audiobook. You get to keep the audiobook. I guarantee you, if you listen to the first Dungeon Crawler Carl book, you're gonna want to get more though. So, sorry, not sorry for the recommendation. Once again, a huge thank you to the folks at Audible for sponsoring the channel, and thank you for listening. Back to the video. And lastly, I'd like to talk briefly about the story. Once again, no spoilers, don't feel like you have to click away. This story was impactful, emotional, and deep. I really enjoyed it. Now, to be fair, there are things that are irksome about the story. For example, if you're playing as a boy, the main character's rival, Tawny, is kind of annoying. Without getting into too much about the story, I just don't like the decisions they make. I found the other side characters like Lita and Naveen to be infinitely more interesting. And of course, as a person who's played Pokemon X and Y, it's so good to have AZ as a character. His story in this game is phenomenal, and you need to play it to understand it. Now, let's talk quickly about some of the gripes that I hear online. Some of them I agree with, but I don't think it's game-breaking for me. The first thing that I hear people complain about is the textures of the walls and windows. If you're staring at windows and judging a game based off of it, you're kind of lame. Sorry, not sorry. There are people that are like actively getting mad about this game having bad textures on the windows and walls. I didn't even notice it until somebody pointed it out, because I'm not sitting there like a doofus staring at a wall. I'm playing the game, doing battles, catching shiny Pokemon, and having fun with the story. I'm not sitting there looking at windows, critiquing whether or not that the textures are there. Honestly, I could care less. There are several things in this game that look phenomenal. I'm not really worried about a window texture. The next gripe is that people say it's too cartoony. Guys, it's a Pokemon game. I actually like the cartoony look. I don't want some Dark Souls looking Pokemon game. Side note, it'd be really cool to see Gengar like that or Tyranitar, just saying. But that's not a deal breaker for me. I actually like the cartoony art style. The next thing is that people are saying it's very button mashy, and I'm like, I don't really see that. You can be pretty intuitive with it, and especially on ranked battles online, you kind of have to be, because it gets a little hectic. You can't just sit there and mash A. You have to target onto the Pokemon, you have to formulate a strategy, move around the map. I don't know, I don't really see that gripe. And the biggest gripe of all, the one I get behind, is that you don't leave Lumiose City. That is kind of a big deal for me. I don't really like being in one location. I personally would have liked to visit a couple of other locations in the Kalos region as part of missions, but unfortunately we're in Lumiose City the entire time. The next thing people are complaining about, and I wholeheartedly get behind, is that the DLC was announced before the freaking game dropped, and you don't even leave the city in this one either! I understand that gripe, and I'm really mad about that one too. Did I buy it? Yes. Am I gonna enjoy it? Absolutely. Do I wish they were a little bit more courteous about not making this seem like a cash grab? Yeah, for sure. Nintendo has been really greedy about locking things behind paywalls, and this is an obvious attempt for that. At the end of the day, though, I think these gripes are very small compared to the overall joy of the game. I really enjoyed this game. I think you should play it. And at the end of the day, if you're one of these people complaining in the comment sections, stop griping for people having fun. You being a miserable person isn't going to stop me from enjoying it. I'm sorry. Go be miserable on your own. And try to stay excellent to each other a little bit better than that, please. So, all in all, for my rating, I would say give this a go. Between the Switch 1 and Switch 2 versions, I haven't noticed much of a difference, so I would say get whatever one you can afford or have. Special thank you to the members of the Foos Force for making videos like this possible. If you'd like to become a channel member, click that join button to see what you get in return for your monetary contribution to the channel. Also, I really appreciate all my channel regulars for leaving likes and commenting on each video. Thank you guys so much. Alright, I think that's about it from me, so have yourself an incredible rest of your day, but above all else, stay excellent to each other, and I'll see you next time.